The Korean War, a brutal conflict etched in history, erupted in 1950. North Korea, armed with Soviet T-34 tanks, launched a surprise invasion of the South. This act of aggression shattered the fragile peace and drew the United States and its allies into a bitter struggle. The Korean peninsula, with its rugged terrain, became a testing ground for armoured warfare. Tanks, once relegated to a supporting role, clashed in ferocious duels, shaping the course of the war. The North Korean People's Army, equipped with Soviet-supplied T-34-85 tanks, enjoyed an early advantage. The stage was set for a clash of armour that would determine the fate of Korea. In the sweltering heat of a Korean summer, the North Korean army surged across the 38th parallel, spearheaded by columns of T-34 tanks. The NKPA's objective was to conquer the South before the United States could intervene. The initial resistance was light, as South Korean and American forces, outgunned and outnumbered, fought desperate delaying actions. American soldiers, armed with bazookas and relying on air support, struggled to stop the seemingly invincible T-34s.
The North Korean advance was relentless, their tanks crushing resistance and sowing panic. Seoul, the capital of South Korea, fell within days, and the situation looked increasingly dire. American troops, hastily deployed from Japan, faced a well-equipped and highly motivated enemy. Heavier American tanks, such as the M26 Pershing with its 90 mm gun, proved more than a match for the T-34. The tide began to turn, and the North Korean offensive, hampered by logistical problems and increasing airstrikes, began to falter.
The Naktong River, a vital waterway winding through southeastern Korea, became a crucial battleground. The North Korean army, seeking to break through the Pusan perimeter, launched repeated assaults across the Naktong. The fighting was intense, a brutal back-and-forth struggle for every inch of ground.
The Battle of Taegu witnessed some of the fiercest tank battles of the war. American Shermans and Pershings, supported by infantry and artillery, fought tenaciously against waves of T-34s. The fighting was at close quarters, often at point-blank range, as tankers on both sides struggled for an advantage.
At Naktong, the tide of the war began to turn decisively in favor of the United Nations forces. The Naktong Bulge marked a turning point in the war, shattering the myth of North Korean invincibility and setting the stage for the UN counteroffensive. Section 4. The Gauntlet of Pakchon, American Armor's Trial by Fire. With the UN counteroffensive in full swing, American armor found itself at the forefront of the drive north.
The rugged terrain of North Korea presented significant challenges for the American tankers. Roads were scarce, and the mountainous terrain favored the defender.
The North Koreans, masters of camouflage and ambush tactics, made the American advance a perilous ordeal. Pakchon, a strategically important town in northwestern Korea, became a focal point for American armor.
The road to Pakchon was a gauntlet, with North Korean tanks and anti-tank guns lying in wait.
American tankers, relying on their superior training and tactics, fought their way through determined enemy resistance. The Korean War demonstrated the importance of combined arms operations, with tanks, infantry, and artillery working in close coordination. As the Korean War progressed, the landscape of tank warfare continued to evolve. The rugged terrain and harsh weather conditions of Korea posed unique challenges for both sides.
The American forces had to adapt quickly. They learned to use their tanks in support of infantry, integrating artillery and air support to maximize their effectiveness.
The North Koreans, along with their Chinese allies, demonstrated remarkable resilience and adaptability.
This constant back and forth led to a dynamic battlefield where the control of territory could shift rapidly. Tanks became crucial not just for offense, but for defense and rapid response as well.
The Korean War, often referred to as the Forgotten War, had a lasting impact on military strategy and tactics.
For the people of Korea, the war was a time of immense hardship and suffering. Entire communities were uprooted, and the scars of the conflict are still visible today.
The experiences of the American tankers and their allies underscored the importance of combined arms operations and the need for constant adaptation in warfare. As we reflect on the Korean War, Its lessons continue to shape military thinking and strategy, reminding us of the enduring complexities of war and peace.